it will best serve the NPA if these matters of prosecution will be decentralized, because the DPPs can have clear oversight in their provinces.
In the DRC, the death toll linked to the Ebola outbreak has risen to 2,011. This is according to the latest data published by health authorities. The outbreak has recorded a total of 4,381 confirmed cases. In your weather, a cold and cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with scattered showers. Johannesburg dropping to lows of 3 degrees, peaking at 11. Dominic Majola, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Comfort ends where Marawa Sports Worldwide begins.
Go to work.
I think it should be better that they shut up.
There's an opportunity and it's stuck into the back of the net. Well, that's inconceivable. Shazi sneaks it in to the left-hand upright of Brandon Peterson.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's unbelievable. Hey, I'm dreaming, man. Wake me up.
Is do or die. It's the shortest but most competitive route to silverware in South Africa, and it has kicked off. Justin Serena, who himself is dispossessed it from long range. It's Talent Mbata.
You know, I'm not going to talk like a cop, a former cop. You know, when I get the results, I was shivering. I said, no, something is wrong with our football.
Chelsea! I'm back, he says! Cassius Marula! I'm back!
I want to repeat, social media is not life. You know, every time you go online, it's just
focus is only leaguing right now. Yeah. We are number one, you know. But I maintain us what?
My lord,
No, you're out of order and you must behave yourself.
I mean,
my lord, you're not going anywhere. Really, I'm tired about this.
I am an honest man.
Our beloved legends indeed, Vuyomer, Linda Mtambo. But I've got to talk about Kaizer Chiefs. And it used to be Kaizer Chiefs. It wasn't about can they qualify for the top 8. It was a given every season that they qualify. But now, can they? Will they? Should they?
They won the Toyota Cup, but they're the only team in Spain that have trophies, in the new season. So
both about to Dubai as well as Vilagaz.
But then now the fans are expecting results and all that. That's too much for the youngster.
Never wafa,
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Well, I guess people are cold for many different reasons outside of just the weather. They might be cold because they've been kicked out of the MTN 8. They might be cold because there's disappointment from the recruitment from their side. They might be cold for whatever the reason is. But we're looking forward to a hot show here tonight on #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide for the Tuesday edition. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa and the MSW family. Firstly, I'd like to say well done and congratulations to the Springboks winning 17-10 over Argentina over this weekend. My reaction today will be on the MTN 8. Firstly, a thriller of a game between Amazulu and Sikukuni. What a game, Mr. Marawa. Coming back back to Orlando Amstel Arena. A wonderful display of football, more especially on the side of Orlando Pirates. By the late 20 minutes or so, when they introduce a very young and vibrant and energetical team that, produced wonders of a goal at the last ever minute of the game. Great show as always. Bongani Kama from its episode.
Wanikama, thank you so much indeed. Giving us a little bit of Reaction Monday on a Tuesday. Why not?
We are coming. When the game needs a voice.
Rob for president. That one, no, we are going with it.
It speaks right here on MSW, on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Right, we'll take lots of your reaction coming up a little bit later on in the show, but we thought, you know what, let's start off where it really matters most as we head off to Cairo. As you know, that's the headquarters of football on the African continent. And with football politics erupting into full-blown power struggle, and at the center of it all, though, stands the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino. This is a storm that's been raging at the very top of world football. After UEFA, CONCACAF and AFC accused FIFA of breaking trust. You don't want to get told that you're breaking trust through what they describe as deception in the controversial FIFA World Cup stake sale process. Now, this has been an ongoing thing now for, over 2 weeks. There's an open letter, a furious response, and now a very, very different voice that's coming out of Africa. And while some of football's most powerful confederations are questioning FIFA's conduct, CAF has taken a completely different position, unanimously endorsing the joint update from Gianni Infantino and also the FIFA Secretary General, that is Matthias Grafstrom, and also reconfirming, though, its support for the FIFA president himself. So where does CAF stand in this growing war of words? Why is African football standing firmly behind Infantino in the first place, while UEFA, CONCACAF, as well as AFC are accusing FIFA of betrayal and betraying their particular trust? Is this simply about supporting FIFA and the billions that are being invested into African football through development programs? Or does CAF actually genuinely believe that FIFA has done nothing fundamentally wrong? And what does this growing divide mean, though, for the future as far as the balance of power in world football is concerned? And that is why joining me right now on Marawa Sports Worldwide is a man at the heart of CAF's communication as well as commercial machinery. That's Lux September. He is CAF head of TV, commercial, and director of communications. Lux, thank you so much for your time. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Yeah, Robert, I was listening to your promos. Was spicy, man, Robert. Was spicy, man. Eh?
Why? What happened?
No, I love your promos. I look forward to listening to them.
Thank you so much indeed. Well, I hope you're going to be adding a lot of that spice tonight as well, Mr. September.
Robert, I'm not as witty. I'm from the rural areas, Robert. So I'm not as smart as those people who give quotable quotes, Robert. I think I'm a little bit boring. I've got long-winded answers sometimes,
All right, so let's see how boring you are tonight. I doubt that you're a boring individual. I can ask you a very simple question as we kickstart what has been an ongoing saga. Maybe one that needs and deserves a lot of clarity. It's a very simple question. Do you believe in your heart of hearts, as Lux September representative of CAF, that somebody like Gianni Infantino has been so-called loyal to Africa?
Robert, everything has got its own context, and I think we must always understand context. I actually think, Robert, at the moment, African football, actually, the leadership of Africa under the president of Dr. Motsepe is probably in the best position in this global challenges in world football that we are in, because, Robert, probably Africa is the only confederation, the leadership of football in Africa is probably the only platform or the only confederation that has got access to all the parties that are involved in this matter. This basically puts Africa in a much stronger position than anyone else. The position always of the president of CAF is Dr. Motsepe is that there must be unity in football for football to achieve its to make its progress. But I think he's been able to do this while still ensuring that. I mean, I'll make an example to you. Tomorrow, the president of CAF will be in the UEFA match. It clearly shows that African football today enjoys the ear through him and thanks to him. And also because he has refused to be boxed in one way or the other. He has always made decisions that are always in the interest of African football. Sometimes the decisions will not always be understood because, Robert, the mistake a lot of people make is the mistake my uncle makes. My uncle calls me sometimes, and he has a very oversimplistic analysis of global football politics. What has happened actually at this point in time is that it is possible that the strongest confederation to emerge out of this entire process is going to be CAF, because under Dr. Motsepe, none of the parties is not talking to him. We have a situation whereby African football might just be vital in whatever alignment or alignment in global politics, Robert. And I think it's important for us to look into this, because in the last 5 years, because I hear a lot of people say, yeah, because someone gives this one money. I mean, CAF is on a clear path to self-sustainability at the moment. Of course, our member associations still need the money. They do need the money. But the CAF of 5 years ago and CAF of today is day and night. When we arrived, when the President Motsepe took over at CAF, you will remember that there were so many donations, bold donations, assist program for this, and these have been put to an end. There are now alignment of mutual interest, and I use the word mutual interest, built on mutual respect by all parties. Africa cannot be and will not be a junior partner to anyone, and this is the tone he takes at all times. But Africa will have a receptive ear to everyone. That is why today CAF has got a good relationship with FIFA. CAF has got a very good relationship with UEFA. CAF has got a good relationship with CONCACAF. CAF has got a good relationship with AFC and all these other confederations. Not just a good relationship, a direct line. You will see that when there were challenges with Omar Atan, the referee from Somalia at the World Cup, CAF and UEFA came up, thanks to the memorandum of understanding that was signed by Dr. Motsepe and the President Sefrin of UEFA, came up with a solution, not necessarily a solution, but of course an alternative whereby Omar Atan would become the first African referee to officiate at the Super Cup. This is a clear demonstration of a continent that is obviously in charge of its own affairs, and secondly, that is navigating a very tricky space and tricky period, looking and safeguarding its own interests, Robert.
All right. That's why I just decided to give you a bit of time so that you can lay the foundation from a CAF perspective. A couple of things I want to go back to from what you've said. You've mentioned that the CAF president is going to be attending that particular game where Omar Atan, who was barred from actually doing his work at the World Cup, the Somalian referee. So that bothers another question, though, to say that the very same friend of African football and the very same Infantino, where was he when all of this was happening in broad daylight? I know that there have been explanations about, sovereignty, they can't interfere with this and that, but there would have been something more than that. I mean, where was he when the Senegalese or Ivorian supporters, were being refused visas, etc.? You would have expected a little bit more. So the presence of Patrice Motsepe at this game, which is seen largely as Schäferin as well as UEFA going against the grain of what Infantino and his FIFA largely did to a referee like Omar Atan.
Well, I mean, the decision of Omar Atan officiating in the Super Cup is not a UEFA decision. It was a conversation which was actually initiated by both CAF and UEFA. I was there by the president of CAF, exactly to that point. Robert, whenever you've got partners, it doesn't mean you'll agree with everything and everything else. It means that whenever you've got areas of common interest, you work together. That is why now when UEFA and CAF are able to work together in this particular matter of Omar Atan, I think the issue of him being denied the visa in the United States has been discussed so many times, Robert. CAF actually gave its own position on this, and the president of CAF had made it clear that his faith's commitment is to African interest and African referees or African players. That is why when this whole matter happened, again, Robert, completely out of CAF's hands, the response of the CAF president was to say, what can we do in the interest of the referee at the moment, Omar Atan? By the way, Dr. Motsepe spoke to Omar Atan, and yesterday you will have seen he was on BBC, Omar Atan, thanking the president of CAF for his intervention on the matter. That's why I'm saying, Robert, there mustn't be an oversimplistic analysis of very complex global matters. And in any case, I mean, President Motsepe has made it very clear that in his period as a CAF president, he's had a good support and a very good relationship with President Infantino, and so has he had a good relationship with he's also had a very good relationship with President Sefrin. I mean, you saw at the last General Assembly of CAF, the president of CONMEBOL, Alejandro Domingos, coming to Africa for the first time because of the mutual relationship CAF has at the moment. The president of the European Club Association, Nasser Al Khalif, for the first time came to the final of the of the CAF Champions League, because in the past, you will remember, the relationship between CAF and the European Club Association was very, very bad. But today, CAF has been able to build those bridges. You don't build those bridges by having these positions which are you must be not necessarily flexible, but you must have a very open approach to all these matters and navigate them to your best interest.
Navigate me through this, because somebody who would want a simplistic answer to what seems to be a very complex or complicated thing is a straightforward one, Lux, before we take a break, is literally, why is CAF backing Gianni Infantino when three of the most powerful football confederations in the world are accusing FIFA of breaking their trust?
Robert, it's very simple. Actually, there was a meeting of the executive committee on Thursday, and this matter was debated for 4 hours, by the way, by the executive committee of CAF. I mean, first of all, CAF is not obligated to take any position. It can only make its mind based on what is in the best interest of African football. And the president of CAF has been very clear about the position of CAF in relation to the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino. And based on the historical relationship of President Infantino, based on the relationship of President Motsepe, does it mean he always agrees with everything President Infantino says or does? No. So is UEFA at the same time. Again, I go back to this, Robert, to say that today, as I'm talking to you, probably Africa is the only confederation that has access to all the different parties that are involved. And maybe it will be the continent that will be able to broker a way forward because of the position that our president, Dr. Motsepe, has been able to take in this matter. Now, it's fashionable. You can go one way or the other for that matter. But you have to look at your own objective situation, Robert. Mm-hmm. And there have been many instances whereby Africa has been dragged into positions, in certain positions in the past, that it doesn't necessarily serve its own interest. You've got to look at what is Africa's interest in today's football, in today's geodynamics of football, and then you've got to safeguard this interest, and who are the likely partners in that journey that you want to undertake. And these are not simple decisions. And I mean, I've heard this lazy analysis of, no, Patrice Motsepe is the if anyone knows him, he's probably one of the most stubborn people you will meet, So when people say he listens to this one, he's given instruction by that one, I know they don't know him for a fact, because he always has an open mind. He's a person who's always, very married to principle. Always married to principle.
But let's stick with that principle very quickly. So you mean to tell me that UEFA, CONCACAF, AFC, who've accused FIFA of breaking trust through deception, yes. I mean, does that mean that CAF believes that those confederations are ultimately and extremely wrong?
No, but that is why, Robert, there are two things there which must never be conflated, right? First of all, if you read the statement of CAF, it clearly acknowledged the joint update that was made by President Infantino and also the General Secretary of FIFA, Matthias Prasform. It clearly acknowledged the content of that, and part of that statement, if you read it, it said it acknowledged the lessons that have been made, and it sent an apology to not only the FIFA Council but the member associations and so forth. That's one issue. The second issue is, where does CAF stay in relation to its relationship in global football, Robert? Now, the approach of the president has been, we must support. He supports, well, the executive committee, that he leads, is that we have to focus on African interest. We've got to support the partners, but more importantly, let's bring together all the parties. That is why, as I said to you, tomorrow, contrary to what everyone thinks, he will be in Austria, in Salzburg, at the final of the UEFA. That means that Africa today has no enemies. Africa today has got no position whereby it takes this position because it's the enemy of the other. Instead, Africa is in a strong position that it can leverage its position for the benefit of African football in the long term.
Yeah, and just to place on record, otherwise you and I would not be having this conversation, that that CAF Executive Committee media statement that was released and published on the 6th of August was read by myself from beginning to end. So the contents of that, I know
Yes.
inside out. And that's also part of what, when we come back from the break like September, we will tackle. Plus, I see a lot of your questions via voice notes. Please send them through. Let's engage. This is a global issue. FIFA is, as Donald Trump has now realized, one of the biggest movements and associations in the entire world. And that is why he, in the past 24 hours, has again gotten himself involved.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.
No two vibes are the same. That's why the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 8 is built to adapt to your aesthetic. With its iconic flip design, a customizable flex window, and Galaxy AI, it keeps up with the way you live. That's on Vibe Maxing. Pre-order the new Galaxy Z Flip 8 and get up to 1,000 Rand worth of accessories. Offer available at participating stores until 12 August. T's and C's apply.
Every drive feels like a holiday when you're inside a Suzuki Jimny 5-door. With more space, more freedom, and roads that don't have to be planned. Starting from 439,900. Ready for your next getaway? Book your test drive at suzukiauto.co.za.
Lotto Star is turning not only heads, but tables too. With our Monopoly Roulette live game, you can bet on red or black, odds or evens, and watch the wheel decide your fate in real time. Every spin could shift your luck in seconds, with payouts of up to 25 million Rand on our live casino games. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 years or over. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Here's something more South Africans should know about. Some of the biggest advances in health are happening right here at home. Like local researchers helping develop a new TB vaccine called M72 that could stop the disease before people become seriously ill. And programs like Coach Impilo are helping men living with HIV overcome stigma and stay on treatment through peer support and private chat guidance. It's South Africans making a difference. Supported by the Gates Foundation for 25 years. Partners of Human Potential.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on iStratGo.com. ISTRATGO.com.
At Specsavers, we're committed to offering affordable and professional eye care. That's why we're offering 1,500 Rand worth of savings with our winter promotion. Get a free frame up to the value of 1,500 Rand or use the 1,500 Rand on one of our leading vision enhancements, like Climate Eyes, which automatically adapts to changing light. To qualify, simply purchase a comprehensive eye examination and prescription frame and lenses. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Our beloved legends indeed. Vuyomer, Linda Mtambo, they say wafa wafa. You die.
Yeah.
You know.
Bonnie Pirates winning that game.
Durban City, even half a goal.
Losing their coach.
Cup winning coach, eh?
Ifana nomjolo. Football ifana nomjolo.
Tell me, Bella, when you're a married man, how are you advising us on umjolo?
No, but remember, I'm samjolweni for 19 years.
Married man. I said I'm a man. Mshado lo. And Vuyo asked me to ask you, how did you propose?
Fashionista. Mina ngabhala incwadi.
Married man. #MSW. 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 No protection. No PR spin. Just accountability.
You. Hey. They can't even talk anymore.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
All right, we're in conversation with Lux September. He's the CAF head of TV, commercial, and director of communications. And he comes to us live from the headquarters of CAF, which is in Cairo. And as we're heading into the break, one of the things, though, that I was throwing in the direction of Lux, and I wanted his answer to this before I go to Mpo in Glenhaven. Lux, just regarding what the other confederations have said, and I think what I was directly asking you is, has CAF spoken directly, let's say, to UEFA, CONCACAF, or the AFC about their concerns? And if so, what was said? Because, I don't know. Because if we're looking for a commitment towards transparency and good governance, why is it comfortable standing behind an Infantino while these serious allegations are being made?
I think Sorry, Robert, I can tell you, the president of CAF has had discussions with all the presidents of the confederations on multiple occasions, Robert, and stakeholders from various fields. And I can tell you, that is why even today there is a clear working together between CAF and FIFA and UEFA and AFC and CONCACAF. Because these lines of communications remain, and as to other matters, and I said it's clear. I mean, FIFA has made an apology, had written a letter to all the member association. The executive committee of CAF took a certain position and noted this, and of course.
But be honest, though, Lux, the apology coming through from CAF wasn't volunteered. Infantino didn't just wake up
not
one
from
day.
CAF, from FIFA.
I'm saying from FIFA. It wasn't a volunteer thing. It was from swift action from the UEFAs of this world, who wasted no time in reacting to what they knew was something that was wrong for football.
Robert, I think one thing, there are two different things here. If you had asked me the same question last week, my reaction to it would be completely different, because there was no joint update which was written at that time by the president of FIFA, which addresses all the concern had been raised by other confederation and other member associations. And a lot has happened since then. That is why the executive committee of CAF and the president of CAF took its time when it was being, a lot of people were asking them to give a position. That's why it took its time to look at the matters, to look at the objective facts that are there. And there have been discussions between FIFA leadership and CAF leadership and UEFA leadership, and CAF leadership and CONCACAF and AFC and so forth, so on. And I think, Robert, and by the way, you must see how, I have a lot of these informal discussions with some of these confederations. People might not necessarily agree with your position, but they've got a lot of respect on when you are explaining your own position to them. That's why I can confidently say to you that in relation to CAF's position, not only is it being respected, they might not agree with some merits on it for sure, but CAF today is in a much stronger position to play a very meaningful role in this challenge that is facing football today.
All right, let me take our first call, Mpho from Glenhaven. Mpho, thank you so much for your time. Good evening.
Good evening, Darobs, and your guest there, Darobs.
Yeah, go ahead with your question.
I think for me, what's important is that and my caution is, CAF must not inherit other beefs that people have with Infantino. Nor should CAF endorse Infantino blindly so. All we ask as Africans, it's taken us a lot to get to where we are, and we hold the room as Africans. Let's look after that position based on the relationship CAF has with the Europeans, CONCACAF, and the Asians. So all we ask in every situation, CAF must hold the room on behalf of us as Africans, and we do not inherit other people's beef because we don't know where it comes from, Darobs.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got you on the line, Mpho. Lux, would you want to respond to that?
I think Mpho is raising a very important point, and it is actually the point that a lot of us have been, Robert, in a situation like this, everyone wants you to join their cause. You've got to look at your own interest. What are Africa's interests at this point in time? That is why, I think his word is more colorful about inheriting beefs and so on. I don't want to use that language because it's very colorful. But I get him completely where he comes from. That is exactly why, Robert, that CAF's position. The most weird thing is that probably this is the first time whereby, by the way, there are private views of CAF on this matter, and there are public views on this matter, which are quite consistent with exactly what Mpho is saying. What are our interests in the whole thing? Let's not be drawn into a lot of things that are happening somewhere else, Robert. We must look exclusively at our own interest.
What are
of course,
our interests, though? Because you've said that 3 times in the past 2 minutes. What are Africa's primary interests?
Robert, 5-6 years ago, African football was on its knees, broke, no money, indebted to everyone. No one was coming to save Africa at that time, by the way. We were barely making it. And if you remember, there were just donations. I don't want to mention the confederations that you guys are all mentioning and all. No one was there to help Africa. Africa today is on a clear path of recovery, Robert. You saw, I'm not trying to drift the conversation. You saw that, for example, in interclub competition, the contribution of CAF, the prize money of interclub is increased by 280 million rands in the last 3 years. That is our primary, that is our primary needs. The prize money of AFCON is now 180 million rands. That's our interest. The contribution of member association has to increase drastically. The president of CAF has said that in the near future we will have a situation. Robert, you can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. So I was keeping quiet so that I digest what you're saying, Lux, because that is where my primary problem is that what is the difference, though? Is it to Infantino, the person? Should we watch then as he gradually, hits at the heartstrings and tags those heartstrings away from the soul of football globally? Otherwise, there wouldn't be an outcry like that, regardless of how, let's say Africa has been able to rebuild itself, I would hope. But then the support of Infantino is important. But also Infantino is not a stupid man. Infantino knows why he needs Africa. And then the administrators also know why Infantino needs the African continent. And for me, it's a case of that control of the African vote. So whichever way we might look at it, at the heart of it all, that's what it comes down to.
No, Robert, don't make it a unilateral thing, because you will have to ask yourself what is the interest of other people as well on Africa. Robert, I think, the Africans are not, certainly, if you look at the caliber of the president of CAF, it's not a person who's going to be just jumping because someone else says jump and he asks how high. He has demonstrated very clearly that he's able to negotiate what is in the best interest of Africa. You've got to make compromises in this industry, Robert, in this world, in the geopolitics. You cannot have these dogmas, so to speak. I think it's only natural that you have to make compromises as you go along. We can debate things and put them in compartments, Robert. And then afterwards, you must go back and say, what are my interests? What are my interests in the entire thing? For example, if tomorrow we go with this position, how do we safeguard Africa's interest in this particular debate that is going in this direction? You cannot look at it as Africa following whoever blindly, because Africa in the last 3 to 4 years, I can tell you, otherwise, if this was the case, President Motsepe wouldn't have made a deal with UEFA for Omar Atan to be at the Super Cup. Robert, let's not look at one incident and define a man or define a situation. The very fact that the African referee will be at the Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, for the first time ever, and the president of CAF will be there, is a clear demonstration that Africa is an independent mind on its own. However, it's operating within the I don't want to use the word geopolitics, but the geodynamics that exist in global football.
I think you can use the word geopolitics, because politics is definitely deeply entrenched in all of this. Otherwise, why would a Donald Trump time and time again be involved? So I go back to what Patrice Motsepe said as the CAF president in Johannesburg, and he said, and I quote, that we took a decision, and I personally support Gianni Infantino. He's not just a good friend. He's a loyal friend. He is loyal to Africa. And I come from a background where when people have been loyal to you, you never stab them in the back. You never do that, end quote. So isn't that...
But Robert, you must remember what was the context of the question. Let me remind you. He was asked the question of, does he want, because there has been a lot of talks there's been a lot of talks and strong lobby globally, not only in Africa, for him to make himself available to be the FIFA president. This is the fact. But he's made it clear he doesn't want to be the FIFA president. So when he answered that question, the context was, who does he support at that moment to be the next FIFA president, and why he will support that person? And thirdly, why he will not make himself available. He has made it clear, his heart is in Africa. He loves the African continent. He loves his own country, South Africa. And that is where his contribution can be.
All right, let me take a couple of voice notes.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Lux September. Quick one on my side. Lux September is to establish whether CAF have conducted a comprehensive due diligence or an independent risk assessment to establish and make a determination whether the benefits of taking this posture outweigh the risks or the long-term risks to the federation beyond the time of Gianni Infantino. I need to find out from you whether something of that nature has been established, or what informs CAF's decision to take this posture that is contrary to the other member association of CAF. Thank you so much, Tebogo.
Thank you so much, Lux.
No, 100%, Robert. And I think it's not only CAF who has taken this posture. I think I saw CONMEBOL has got a very similar approach, Alejandro Domingos. And it's clear that's why CAF took its time. We didn't respond in a knee-jerk way. CAF did a lot of listening and also consultation, not only within CAF member associations, which are very important as the executive committee, but also to talk to other confederations. These discussions continue up to today, by the way. Every leader must make decisions, Robert, and only history judges him or her that he or she has been right in making those decisions. And, we have, the balance sheet and the scoreboard doesn't lie about what the President Motsepe has achieved in the last 5 years.
Hi Rob, this is Tomiade from Edenville. Greetings to Lux September. Rob, I want to find out a quick one. Can you please ask Lux September, why does Patrice Motsepe not answer questions after making a press conference? Why does he just make a press conference but doesn't like interviews? Why is it so? Is there something he's running away from, or is there something he's hiding from? Thanks, Rob.
All right, Tom, Lux.
No, Robert. I can echo when he does this. This is not true. We were in Johannesburg in South Africa, I think a week or two ago, but 2 weeks ago. We had a press conference. After the press conference, the president, as he went out, he spoke to SABC, he spoke to ENCA and a number of people who were there outside. So no, this is not true, but maybe he doesn't get to see this. We've done a lot of one-on-one interviews. The president has done a lot of these, Robert, and in the near future, of course, we will also come through for free coffee in your studios in the near future. I can tell you this is going to happen.
It's never going to happen, Lux. Let's not lie.
It will happen, Robert.
Motsepe coming to our studio?
Is a Wednesday. At some stage.
That's never going to happen, Lux.
What do you want to bet?
I'm not a betting man, but I will tell you categorically, it's never going to happen.
You're sponsored by a betting company.
100%. It's not within betting rules that we should extend it to CAF. I am saying to you.
I want to place a bet.
No. We're not going to place a bet. I'm just placing facts. That the CAF president being live in studio is something that we would have loved to have, but it's something that is never going to happen.
We can place a bet, Robert.
All right, I think you need...
I have my terms.
I think you need a hydration break.
I have my terms.
You need a hydration break, sir.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Big game for Alan, balancing the day-to-day, looking after his family while still planning ahead. Good thing he's with FNB Private. Service suite backing him on and off the field 24/7. His banking advisor keeps the day-to-day moving. When the game needs strategy, his private advisor steps in. And when things get more complex, the right specialists come off the bench. Everyone in position.
Switch to FNB Private. FNB. Help changes everything. FNB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
Unleash extraordinary with the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 256 gig from Vodacom. Get it for just 1,549 Rand per month over 36 months on a 4 gig Red Core plan. Plus, receive an in-store accessory voucher up to the value of 1,500 Rand. Enhance your deal at 149 Rand extra per month and get the new Galaxy Watch 9 eSIM. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
How does a full year of free Bolt rides sound? I'm Tundi from the Bolt safety team, and we're giving away Bolt credit and branded merch to lucky riders who verify their accounts. It's super easy. Open the app, click account, then click profile, and follow the prompts. Stay safe and win a year of free rides with the Bolt safety team. Verified riders, verified drivers. T's and C's apply.
At Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, we bring you over 5,000 deals every week. Save extra on house brand all-purpose cleaner, all variants, 750 mils for $22.99 each. House brand original or instant oats, 750 grams or 1 kg for $29.99 each. And house brand country crop frozen mixed vegetables, 900 grams for $39.99. Valid until 19 August, only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
There comes a moment when you stop chasing the next thing and start choosing what truly fits your life. The Bike X55 Plus Premium and all new B30 are built for those moments. Premium design, intelligent technology, refined comfort, exceptional value. Because success isn't about making a statement. statement. It's about making the right choice. Visit bikesa.co.za to explore the vehicle ranges or book your test drive today. Bike, drive your ambition.
When it comes to family, you can't please everyone all the time, except on a Tuesday at Panarotis. If one wants pizza and one wants pasta, or one wants the same as his brother, but the brother wants something else, and if you want to feed the whole family, but you don't want to pay more, come to Panarotis every Tuesday and get any classic pizza or pasta for just $99.90 each. Panarotis Classic Tuesdays. Big on family, big on pizza. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Our beloved legends indeed. Vuyo Mere, Linda Mtambo, Mamelodi Sundowns. They've come back, obviously now they're going to be parading that two-star for the very first time. Hey, but what, 4 years since they last won this trophy?
It's been too long, Darobs.
What's going on?
It seems like a lifetime now.
Yeah.
The culture at Mamelodi Sundowns, every trophy. So now 4 years, yes. No, it's too much. So I'm hoping the boys have recovered, Darobs. I think they need to do it for Jade in this tournament, Darobs. They are capable, it's not going to be easy. But then they need to feel the heat when they come to Atteridgeville. We're hoping for a good game. Like I said, Darobs, we need goals. If we can just get goals and then the charities can benefit.
I don't know. If I had to push you for a score?
3-1 Mamelodi Sundowns.
MSW. MSW. Extraordinary! Marawa Sports Worldwide. We ask the questions they are scared to answer.
It was a mutual conversation. It was a mutual termination.
MSW.
All right, we connected live with Cairo. That's where Lux September is to be found, is the cafe head of TV and commercial. Also director of communications. Let's go straight to the voice notes.
Baba Marawa, no, Zulu. You know, now KEF is trying by all means to support Infantino because to give them money. We remember that Infantino guy introduced AFL. That tournament just played just once. They didn't come back to the tournament. The same Queen that refused to play a tournament. Now they're telling for the truth. I strongly believe that KEF, they are thinking with the stomach, man. They don't use brain, they use stomach. This guy Infantino is selling the football, is selling the soul of football. So UEFA and other continents are right, but our KEF are selling us. I'm not happy about this thing. He's trying to explain, but nah, man, no September, no, nah, man. Those UEFA is right. Infantino needs to go. That's all. It's killing the football. We saw in World Cup. We saw how he tried to commercialize football.
All right, Lex, so there you have it. A sentiment that says that CAF is using their stomachs as opposed to the right and the needs of football.
Robert, Dr. Patrice Motsepe has been at CAF now for 5 years or so. In this process, I'm certain he has spent over 300 million rands of his money at CAF with CAF business. What does he need from Infantino? who is hungry? I mean, come on, guys, have another argument. Today, there are 211 presidents globally of football and 6 confederations. He's the only person who takes nothing, actually gives money to football. This afternoon, I was sitting in a meeting whereby they were talking about the African Schools Football Championship, where his family has given 190 million rands to CAF in African football. I'm sorry, man, you can disagree with him, but this lazy thinking that whenever an African or a black person is with a person who's not black, the relationship is inherently corrupt or the black person is inferior must stop. It must come to an end.
But what if it's not about Patrice Motsepe himself? It's about what we go to, like said, and people know that at some point there's a level of trade-off where there are 54 votes that are at stake. And we've seen the likes of Djibouti, Niger, we've seen Mauritania, DRC, all of them, coming through in support of...
No, 100%, Robert. We can have that debate.
Yes.
Now, you can disagree with the principle without bringing the old, very ridiculous argument of inferiority complex that whenever a black person and a white person are in a room, there's an automatic assumption that the black person is the inferior person. We must stop this nonsense. It's not on. The point you are raising is a very plausible one. Whether it's a case or not is another story, but I accept that on its merit. The horse trading happens anyway. Even if today you side with CONMEBOL or CONCACAF or AFC, you have to, it's normal in global football that this is what happens, Robert. But the lazy thinking that we are influenced by money in that thinking must stop, because that is not the case. But are we having a discussion, a very constructive discussion? Maybe people might not agree with our point, and I accept that, Robert, in good faith. But we must please start thinking logically. President Infantino has, with a lot of respect to him, do you think he affords President Motsepe? No disrespect. Please, people, let's be rational about these things, and let's have more confidence in ourselves as African people. Let's have more confidence in who we are, Robert. And I think right now we are in a much stronger position. It's a pity I cannot give a lot of information on what I know, but I can assure you, African football today, in the table that is here right now, is in a very, very strong position.
And I hear you. I can't argue with that because you have the inside track of what is going on. All we have is a situation where other confederations reacted very decisively, almost pushed the president of FIFA into an apology because he knew deep down inside that he was selling the soul of football globally. And that took whatever time it took for CAF to give a response was, for me, a long time. I don't know how much pondering needed to happen. Maybe you've explained it in our discussion today. But the issue of decisiveness is also important so that we also don't lag and we're not seen to be taking too long to react. But you also don't want to be seen as, following the leaders that have taken a decision. But decisiveness also plays a part.
Let me tell you, Robert, I'm one of the people sometimes who, whenever we're having discussions at CAF, I would get I'm like, oh, President Motsepe, you take too long to make decisions. His style is actually one that is frustrating, but very, very interesting, because he likes to listen to different views. I sometimes say to him, President, I think we understand now. He's like, no, but what about that person? We will be in a meeting, Robert, sometimes, and it's 12 midnight. I personally want to go sleep or have dinner, but he wants to consult as many people as possible before he makes a decision. At first, it was a frustrating one even for me, but I've actually grown to respect it, because what we have at the end is a quality decision that you think, oh, okay, I didn't think of this. His style is a listening person. He listens a lot to people's opinion. He knows the final decision is his, but he listens a lot. As I said, as a human being, sometimes myself, it's 1 a.m. and he's having a meeting and we are finishing at 2:30 in the morning instead of finishing at 11 p.m. Because that is just his style. I'm not going to change him at 60-odd. And by the way, I've seen the benefit of that leadership style, quality. Maybe we need more leaders that listen a little bit more.
But we haven't seen a scandal as big as this, though.
Hi, Mr. Marawa and the team. Hi, Lukolo. Lukolo, my question to you is, don't you think that you need to convince the CAF president to come on the radio to conduct the interview instead of relying on these media conferences, which are limited to certain journalists, and also relying on you, despite the fact that sometimes your scope is limited? David in Parkwood.
How do you respond to that?
Robert, this is work in progress. I think we have a very, very strong media engagement globally at the moment. And Robert, you've made such a good contribution to African football, to South African football over the years. And I know President Motsepe acknowledges this as well. And I can promise you he values your input a lot in African football and globally, and that's why I'm sure that at some stage we'll have an interaction with you, because if that was not the case, I wouldn't be in this platform, he wouldn't be interacting in this way, but he values you a lot.
Rob, Lux is a good spin doctor. I'm a future spin doctor like him. He's inspiring me, this guy. Even when the statement said nothing about support or not support, you will defend this boss. I really like Lux. such an inspirational guy. But how long will Africa still be in a position where they don't have a position? When? They could not defend their own. Until when? This is the Africa that they will say a lot of nothing.
You're a good spin doctor, sir.
Robert, I can assure you, not only am I from the rural areas, I am not as articulate as you or anyone else like that. My job is to try and communicate the position of the organization to the best of my ability. I'm lucky, Robert, that I'm in football. That's all I ever wanted. Even if I was the ball boy, I would be very happy.
So you don't accept that you're a good spin doctor?
My only dream, Robert, was to watch the Soweto Derby live growing up in the Eastern Cape.
Rob, I'm glad you asked about the interest of Africa. And Lux, all he's talking about is the money that has increased. Infantino was trying to sell the 20% stake to private hands because what matters here is money, not the heart and soul of football. So, this guy, man, come on, Lux, we are not kids. Thanks, Rob.
Lux, part of what he's saying, I guess if I can pick up on his point, is that Gianni Infantino at some point came in and put a proposal. I don't know if it has been adopted yet. The proposal that the Africa Cup of Nations should happen every 4 years. And he almost, spat at the fact that every 2 years, which has been the African traditional way of having the Africa Cup of Nations, that it makes no commercial sense to have it every 2 years and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those were things that he was putting on the table to say, head this direction. I don't know how far gone that idea is.
Robert, I'll tell you what, not so long ago, there was actually an idea which UEFA was championing in global football, which CAF aligned with. Robert, does it mean today we listen to UEFA exclusively? No. I think what is important, Robert, nowadays is to try, these are very complex issues, Robert, I have to tell you this, but to navigate and find our own interest. In the issue of AFCON, the AFCON is the most important competition. It's the fastest growing product in football today, by the way, outside the World Cup and the Euro. It's the best performing product commercially. And all the decisions that are made on AFCON will be made exclusively looking at the commercial and, of course, the African interest.
It's working every 2 years, don't you think?
I know the balance sheet, Robert. It was 5 million in 2021.
So
I mean, look, whenever you've got, I happen to wear the commercial. I'm like, I've been a salesman here at CAF for the last 5-6 years. I know that the AFCON, all these years, in the last 5-6 years, we've been trying to find creative ways to make its value stronger. Robert, if you tell me that it was working, you cannot, to borrow, I think there's an official in South Africa, the chairman there, he always says, you cannot dry today's washing with yesterday's sun. We must avoid that.
So is the 2-year Africa Cup of Nations working or not?
I think commercially, the indicators are that there can be a lot more stronger benefits. And you know what, Robert? The African football cannot live on credit card forever. In its common cause that CAF, by the way, the 2-year cycle has been around for a very long time. As a fan, I love it myself. But you've got to look at commercially, what does the numbers say? What do the indicators want? What do the sponsors want? You must look into those things holistically. By the way, CAF is going to be launching a competition, by the way, that is going to ensure that there is football in between that, top quality football that is going to be played in the African Nations League, which is going to be launched very soon, which is going to be something that supplements this and ensures that there is continuity of top-class football in African football.
Yeah, Marawa, babheje impela imali engeneni bajabulile thina ngale bhola laseFarish. Never love.
Oh, good evening. This is Bongani from the VAR. Your guest undermines our intelligence, and I think he really does not know the caliber of people that he's talking to. Great show, by the way.
Roberto, Ulaxi Jiga man. Whereas Ulaxi, he's not answering the questions you're asking him. And on top of that, he knows deep down in his heart, Ogoti, President Donald Trump is also the president of FIFA. for a mere fact ukuthi he just calls Infantino ukuthi bari sign the red card. Please, man. No. Mm-mm.
Did CAF voice their opinion about that rescinding of the red card that was taken at the White House?
It's got nothing to do with CAF, Robert.
An opinion, though. An opinion doesn't hurt.
Nah, it's got nothing to do with CAF, Robert.
It's got to do with football.
Nothing to do with CAF.
It's got to do with football.
It's got. I didn't see AFC have a position. I didn't see CONMEBOL have a position. It's got nothing to do with us.
But how do you feel?
I didn't see AFC having an opinion on it. And no one asked AFC, do you like it, you don't like it? I can only rely on what was said by FIFA, what was said by the people, because I read it about it in the media like you. I don't have more inside information more than anyone else. We don't have any more inside information about that than anyone else. We read it in the media like you.
Like September, CAF head of TV and commercial, director of communications, live from Cairo. Sir, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we will get more time and you will live up to your promise and deliver the president of CAF to our studios. I appreciate you, sir.
Robert, how can you ask for more time when you've put me on extra additional time? But thank you very much, my dear brother, and I really appreciate this engagement. We don't have to agree, Robert, but I appreciate the fact that you at least listen to my point.
I do listen. It's a two-way engagement. You listen, and then you formulate an opinion, and then you put yours on the table based on facts that you have correlated and I've correlated, and I think the listeners and the viewers have also correlated. But thank you so much. That's Lux September. This has been Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Let the game begin. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW Live.